All right, welcome back. Or if you're new here, I'm so glad that you're tuning in today because we're diving into a topic that so many women over 40 are still unsure about and maybe even a little bit intimidated by. And I'm talking about strength training. Now, before you click away and you say, ugh, I can't even think about that right now. I'm too tired, busy, sore to lift anything but my purse. Well, I want you just to hold on a minute because this isn't about turning you into a bodybuilder or asking you to spend hours in the gym. It's about empowering you to feel strong, stable, energized, and confident in your own body, especially in a season of life when hormones, energy, and metabolism start doing, well, interesting things. Now, if you're new here, I'm Dr. Jamie Krzykowski, athletic trainer, sports nutritionist, and holistic health coach. And I don't just coach, I help women over 40 reclaim their God-given vitality. I combine faith, functional science, and fierce strategy to help you balance your hormones, burn stubborn fat, boost energy, and finally feel like yourself again without compromising values or your sanity. So, why is strength training for women over 40 so important? Well, here's the deal. Once you hit your 40s, and especially in perimenopause and beyond, then we start to lose lean muscle mass. And this is a process called sarcopenia. And that decline will speed up over time, especially if we're not doing something to prevent it. Our muscles are not here just for aesthetics, right? I mean, they look good when we're toned, but our muscles play a vital role in so many areas of our lives. One, metabolism. The more muscle mass means a higher resting metabolic rate, which means that we burn more energy on a regular basis. And when we're burning more calories, even at rest, then that can help us to get rid of some of that stubborn fat that we have. It's also vital for our bone density. Strength training will stimulate bone growth and reduce the risk of osteoporosis and osteopenia. It also helps with our joint health. Strong muscles support and protect the joints. It helps with insulin sensitivity because muscle mass can enhance our body's ability to regulate our blood sugar. It also helps with mood and energy. Regular resistance training has been linked to reduced symptoms of depression and increased energy levels. Now, there was a study that was done by the National Institute of Aging that highlights that strength training can improve mobility, increase healthy years of life, and help you maintain muscle mass as you age. And no, lifting weights won't make you bulky. That's a myth that we can just leave behind with the high-rise jeans and the fat-free cookies of the 90s. We really don't have the hormones to build or to become bulky because we just don't have enough testosterone for that. We can get nice and toned without the bulk. Now, I do have to say a little bit of something about cardiovascular exercise. Running might not be your best friend anymore if you're a woman over 40. But I do get it because cardio can feel really familiar and easy, right? It's easy to just throw on a pair of shoes and go for a run or a walk or hop on a bike or something. And cardio can be a really great part of our fitness routine, something that's really important. But if your life is already packed with stress, thinking work, kids, aging parents, hormonal chaos, then adding more long duration, high intensity stress onto the body might not be doing you any favors. Now, some of you may say, wow, I never really liked running anyway. Thank you. I'm so glad that you told me I don't have to run anymore. And others may say, but I love running. Always keep in mind that this is individualized. For some, running is a great outlet and you feel great after you do it. For some, you run and you just feel even more exhausted. And because of the cortisol, well, now you're going to hang on to more belly fat in particular. And it's kind of defeated the purpose, right? Because we want to be fit and then we're not doing ourselves any favors. Excessive running, especially when you're already under emotional, mental, or hormonal stress, can lead to elevated cortisol, like I mentioned, which can make us hang on to belly fat. It can increase the likelihood of muscle loss. It can increase fatigue, slower recovery, and yes, again, that stubborn belly fat can be something that it might not help us to get rid of, especially if it's just adding another layer of stress on our body. I will say that I discovered this in myself a few years ago when I would run. I used to run and feel really good and get that endorphin release and get the runner's high and feel like, okay, that was great. And the furthest I've ever run is a half marathon. Usually for me, I'm more of a 5K type of person. But with that, what I noticed is that I was always feeling so much more exhausted afterwards. And I had to figure out for myself with the science of what was going on. Why didn't I get the runner's high? Why didn't I feel good after running anymore? And then when I dug into the science, I found, oh, this is why. Because I was perimenopausal, because I had all of this other stress and strain in my life, was probably developing sleep apnea at the time and didn't know it. So I also was not resting very well. Those things combined really took a toll on me for that period of time, because before I realized that what I was doing was not beneficial. And so I switched it out for walking and then continuing strength training and some other things that we're going to talk about today. Because I'm not saying that cardio is bad. For many women over 40, especially those in perimenopause, low to moderate intensity movement with short bursts of intensity and strength training is often a much smarter, more sustainable choice. And we need the cardiovascular exercise. We need to raise our heart rates and breathe heavy sometimes, but we want to make sure that we're doing it in a way that is most beneficial for us. Now, when we think about these short bursts of intensity, we need to think about HIIT training and sit training, because these can be really beneficial to add to our workouts. HIIT training is high intensity interval training, and it involves short bursts of intense exercise like sprinting or jumping jacks or fast cycling. But then it's followed by lower intensity exercise like maybe marching in place or a rest period. Now, sit training is sprint interval training, not sitting on the couch training. We only wish, right? It's a more intense version of HIIT training. It includes an all-out effort. So thinking of sprinting all out at 90 to 100% of your max effort for a period of time, followed by longer rest periods. Sit exercise typically uses fewer intervals, but pushes the body to its max, making it great for improving fat loss, endurance, and metabolic health in even shorter sessions. Now, HIIT training is meant to be 10 to 15-minute workouts. If you go somewhere and they say, we're going to do a 45-minute HIIT routine, that's not what it's designed to be. If the 45 minutes involves a warm up and a cool down and stretch, then that makes sense. If the high intensity intervals are during about 15 minutes of that time, then that's okay. With sit training, those workouts might be more like 7 to 10 minutes because of that all out effort that you're doing when you're in the high intensity time. Now, both of these methods can improve our cardiovascular health. They can help to enhance our insulin sensitivity, as well as increase fat oxidation, which can help us to burn more calories in less time. Now, another factor with these types of training where we have these bursts of intensity is that we have what's called this exercise post-oxygen consumption that will last for a lot longer after a workout. Now, EPOC, exercise post-oxygen consumption, is the amount of calories that we're burning after a workout. So if we go for a casual walk, then our EPOC will stay raised maybe like 30 minutes. But if we do this high intensity interval training for 10 or 15 minutes or sit training for that 7 to 10 minutes, then our EPOC could be raised for another 24 to 48 hours. That means that over that time, we're burning more calories because of the intensity of the exercise. Now, that's a really important thing, because if we're burning more calories for a longer period of time, that means we get the benefits of that exercise for that extra amount of time as well. I will say that there was a study that found that sit training led to 39.95% higher reduction in body fat percentage compared to HIIT training, and sit training requires less time. That was just one study, so we definitely need some more studies on that. But it's pretty interesting how that all-out effort, what a difference that can make. With HIIT training or sit training, we are incorporating just a couple of sessions a week of these types of workouts, because one, we want to be safe. We want to make sure that we're having enough recovery, but it's just not necessary to have, this would not be something that would be good to do multiple times per week. So 1 or 2 maybe 3, as long as you're giving yourself at least 48 hours in between those workouts, can be effective for enhancing your cardiovascular health and a great way to complement your strength training routine effectively. Now, when we think about strength training, the principles that we use, it's the progressive overload is what we call it. And this is how we build strength safely. To build strength, it's essential that we challenge the muscles progressively. And so that's a little bit over time. If you are not working out right now, you have been sedentary, then we're going to start with body weight exercises and make it pretty easy, because that progression would be something that we need to start lighter. And because it's about gradually increasing the weight or that resistance over time. If you start too heavy, if you say, oh, I used to work out, and the last time that I was able to do push-ups with my hands on the floor and on my toes, and I was able to do 25 push-ups, no problem. Well, if it's been a few years and you haven't done it at all, then you probably want to, start not in that most challenging position so that you don't injure yourself and you can work your way up. Otherwise, you might be too sore or you could put yourself at risk for injury. And of course, before you start any new workout routine, especially if you've been sedentary or if you have any health concerns, then consult your healthcare provider before starting anything. We're trying to build health, not add stress to the body. Research indicates that performing 6 to 10 repetitions per set with heavier weights is effective for muscle development. So we want to start out with body weight exercises, and then as you gain strength, then incorporate weights to continue challenging your muscles. Now, those of you who are already lifting weights and you are consistently exercising, then I would say, obviously, you can do more than just the body weight sort of exercises. You know where you're at right now, and make sure that anything that would be in those high intensity sort of bursts, we don't use heavy weights for that, because we're really trying to maintain good form. We're trying to move quickly. And if you use really heavy weights, that can be difficult to do. So most of the time with our HIIT training and sit training, we're not using heavy weights. When we're talking just strength training, then that's when we can progressively use those heavy weights. Here's what I recommend. Strength training at least 2 to 4 times per week. And you ideally would want to have a rest day in between. If you are currently sedentary, then I would start out with 2 days, and I would give yourself at least 2 days in between your strength training workouts. I would also then add in low impact cardio. So walking, cycling, swimming, something like that, 4 to 5 times per week. With that, if you have a dog or maybe people in your family or something like that, get outside, do some other activity that is a cardio type of activity. Also, dancing could be added in there. We love to dance in our house, and that can be a great way to get a good workout in. Short bursts of intense activity, like I mentioned, with HIIT training and sit training. Again, you're doing those a couple of times a week. And so that's something to go along with your other lower intensity cardio, as well as the strength training that you're doing. We want to do daily stretching so that we can maintain range of motion and we're able to touch our toes and able to do the things that we need to do. Daily stretching. If you need to sit in a chair to do that, that's fine. If you can get on the floor on a mat or something, that's great too. There are many different ways that we can make this happen, even if we can't get all the way down on the floor. And then, of course, we need that rest and recovery. That is something that's really important. So if you do a workout today and then you are sore from that, give yourself a day of rest just to do your low impact cardio and then get your stretching in, which will then give you a little bit of an active rest sort of day. It doesn't mean laying on the couch all day. It means the lower intensity sort of activities. Now, I want to give you a few strength training exercises that you can start with. And again, if you are someone who already works out, then obviously you have your own routines. These are very basic. These could be used in conjunction with maybe something else that you're doing, but this is definitely meant to be something that is a basic start. Because you don't need a gym membership or fancy equipment to get started. That can oftentimes be a barrier for people. So I want to give you a few strength-based moves that you can do right at home. One would be body weight squats. You can get down to a 45-degree angle. Make sure that your knees are not going over your toes. You want to put the hips and the buttocks back so that it's like you're sitting in a chair. If your balance is not great, I would encourage you to put a chair behind you just in case. If you lose your balance or your strength isn't quite there, just go ahead and sit down and then just start again. With the body weight squats, doing about 3 sets of 10 reps, it will help to strengthen your glutes, your quads, and your core. Make sure that you keep that core nice and tight. That means sucking in the gut and being able to then really feel those muscles contract as you squat down. Now, ideally, we want to be able to get to about 90 degrees of knee flexion or knee bending. And if you're not at that point yet, that's okay. Do what you can. The next exercise is wall push-ups or incline push-ups, doing 3 sets of 10 reps, which is great for your upper body strength. Now, a push-up on the wall, your hands are going to be about shoulder width apart, and you are pushing and going toward the wall, then pushing yourself off the wall. You should be at an angle on the wall. If that's too easy for you, then you could use a countertop. You just don't use a table that's a freestanding table because you don't want the table to move away from you. A countertop is going to be better, or a table that's against a wall or something like that. And then that could be an incline push-up. If you're saying, you know what, I feel like I'm pretty strong already, well, maybe then you go down to the floor and you're on your knees and you can do that, or go to your toes. So 3 sets of 10 reps. Then we have glute bridges. So you're laying on your back, your feet are flat on the floor, and then you raise your hips up. We're doing about 3 sets of 12 reps for this. It's great for your core, your hip stability, and those glute muscles, which really help us to get up and down the stairs, in and out of cars, and things that we need to do on a daily basis. The next exercise is deadlifts with dumbbells, or you could even use groceries or gallon jugs of water or something like that. 3 sets of 10 reps. This is a total body move and it's really functional. So a deadlift, your knees are slightly bent and you don't even have to have weight. You can just do this on your own. If you haven't ever done these, then your knees are slightly bent and then you're going to hinge forward as though you're reaching for your toes, but you don't have to go that low. As long as your hands can go, hopefully, eventually get a little bit below your knees, and then you want to contract your muscles as you come back up. When you do hold weights, then we get a little extra squeeze of the shoulder blades together to help build some of the back muscles as well. The next exercise is step-ups. Step-ups, think about your bottom stair and going up, up, down, down, in control, using your muscles well, doing about 3 sets of 10 per leg. It's great for balance, for your glutes, and for coordination. Now, most people would have at least 1 or 2 steps in their home. If you have a sunken living room, you could use a step up out of the living room, maybe coming into the house or something. If you don't have a step, you could get a step that you could purchase somewhere where it's just a little step that they would use for step aerobics. Think about something like that. It was very popular in the 90s and still popular today, still an exercise that gets used. But having good control with that step up, up, and down, down, very functional sort of exercise. And then planks on your elbows. So you are on your elbows, you are on the floor, your body is level. If that's too difficult, you can do a plank on the wall. And so you are again at an angle, your elbows are on the wall, and then you are holding for 3 sets of 30 seconds. Ideally, then we want to work our way down to the floor where our elbows are on the floor and we're on our toes and holding for at least 30 seconds and even beyond. Now, I know a lot of people don't like planks, but planks are really good for the core and for overall stability. With all of these exercises, I would recommend doing one exercise. So starting with the body weight squats and do 1 set of 10, take a break of 60 to 90 seconds, and then do another set of 10, rest for 60 to 90 seconds, and then do another set of 10, rest for 60 to 90 seconds, and then go to the next exercise. And I'll put together a little chart for you so that you can have that, and I'll put that in the comments below so that you can access that. Here's the thing. You really need to focus on your form and not try to speed through these exercises. We don't want to cause any injuries. We want to make sure everyone is safe and doing them well. If you do any of these moves and it hurts, then stop and wait, maybe try it a different day, maybe consult your healthcare provider to see what might be going on. But we don't want to be doing things too fast with this strength training. We want to make sure that we're using really good form and staying safe. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about nutrition in this whole thing, because you cannot out-train a bad diet. And you definitely can't build muscle without giving your body the fuel that it needs and the building blocks for this recovery that we need. So this means that we need to prioritize protein. It's essential for muscle repair and growth. We know where this protein comes from, right? It's eggs and lean meats like chicken and fish. Greek yogurt. I would recommend plain Greek yogurt, and then beans and legumes. You can also get some protein in nuts and seeds, but those will tend to have more fat than protein. And so that wouldn't be my first choice as a protein source. Another thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we're getting our healthy fats, because our healthy fats support hormone production. We need the hormones to help us to recover from the exercise that we're doing. And so avocados, nuts and seeds, extra virgin olive oil, all great sources of healthy fats. With our healthy fats, depending on the person, we're talking, let's say if you are using extra virgin olive oil for a salad dressing, that it would be maybe about a teaspoon or so of the extra virgin olive oil, and then add in some lemon juice or something like that for that salad dressing if you're making your own. We also want to eat colorful fruits and veggies for antioxidants and fiber, as well as some carbohydrates that can be in the fruits and veggies. We also want to eat colorful fruits and veggies for antioxidants and fiber, and some carbohydrates in some of those veggies as well, fruits, and the carbohydrates that are in the fruits and some of those veggies as well. So getting those, and especially when we have a lot of different colors, is really beneficial for our bodies because it provides so many different nutrients that we need to thrive. And we don't want to fear complex carbohydrates. They provide energy for our workouts and they help to fuel our muscles during recovery. When we have carbohydrates with protein, then our muscles can recover a lot quicker. So look at your plate and make sure. So look at your plate and make sure that half of it is fruits and so look at your plate and make sure that at least half of it is vegetables. And yes, some of that can be fruits as well. A quarter of your plate should be the lean protein. A quarter of your plate should be carbohydrates. And you want to make sure that you add in your healthy fat as well. So each time that you're eating, when you look at those portions that way, it can help you to figure out, well, should I have half my plate of pasta? No, we should make that a quarter of the plate. The one caveat I would say is that when it comes to mashed potatoes, I realize that potatoes are a vegetable, but we want to put that in the carbohydrate section and not in the veggie section. And so if we have broccoli, asparagus, cauliflower, carrots, other things like that, that can take up half the plate. But mashed potatoes should not take up half of our plate. Sorry. And please, please, please eat enough. If we undereat, it's not going to be the right way to try and get our bodies into the right body composition that we want. If we want to build strength, balance our hormones, or have any energy left for the rest of the day, then we need to make sure that we're eating well. So let me just give you a little example of what this might look like. Breakfast, scrambled eggs, maybe 2 or 3 eggs with spinach and tomatoes, have a piece of whole grain or sprouted grain toast with maybe a little bit of jelly on it, Greek yogurt with berries, a nice well-rounded meal, and lots of great nutrients there. Then have a snack mid-morning, a handful of almonds. So be careful that you want it to be about the palm size of your hand. Usually a serving is going to be around 10 to 13 almonds, and then have some apple slices with that. At lunch, have a grilled chicken salad with mixed greens, maybe some quinoa and some vinaigrette. An afternoon snack, have cottage cheese with pineapple chunks. Now, cottage cheese, I would get the lower fat cottage cheese, not the non-fat, and have about a half a cup of cottage cheese with some pineapple chunks. Make sure those pineapple chunks are either fresh, or if they're canned, then you want them to be packed in water or in their juice and not in a heavy syrup that would have a lot of sugar. For dinner, let's have some baked salmon, some steamed broccoli, and brown rice. And with that steamed broccoli, you can have 2 cups of that, and you are not going to overdo in your calories, but you will get a lot of great nutrients. We want to make sure that every meal contains a source of protein. Well, we want to make sure that each meal and snack has a source of protein to support muscle protein synthesis. And we also can get a little bit of carbs in there as well, so that can help us to maintain our energy levels throughout the day. Now, here's just an idea for you. We can enhance our results with bioactive peptides. So in addition to exercise and nutrition, bioactive peptides can support muscle growth and recovery. They are short chains of amino acids that can influence a variety of physiological functions within the body. One such supplement is from Make Wellness, and their peptides contain plant-based bioactive peptides that are designed to promote muscle strength and endurance. And they're formulated to support muscle homeostasis, and that means our muscle balance. They aid in growth and retention and recovery. And you can refer to one of my latest YouTube videos entitled, "Is Your Body Missing the Signal to Let Go of Fat?" And that's on my YouTube channel, Health, Wellness, and Vitality with Dr. K. As always, please consult your healthcare professional before starting any new regimen, any new supplements, because we want to do this in the best and safest way that we can. Here's just a quick reminder. We don't have to do it all. We just need to do something. Strength training is really a powerful tool for women over 40 to enhance health, vitality, and confidence. By incorporating resistance exercise, balanced nutrition, and supportive supplements, then you can navigate this stage with strength and grace. Remember, it's never too late to start, and you don't need to overhaul your life today. Begin with small, consistent steps. So maybe you take a 20-minute walk today after dinner. Maybe you dust off those dumbbells that you haven't used in years. Maybe you finally sign up for that beginner strength class at the gym where you're at. Whatever it is, just start and celebrate your progress along the way. Because strength training isn't about looking a certain way. It's about living a long, vibrant life that's energized, where you can carry your own groceries and chase your kids or your grandkids and feel confident in your body. You don't have to be extreme. You just need to be consistent. So are you ready to thrive in this season? If this resonated with you, then check out my free Thrive Through Perimenopause series. It's packed with real talk, practical strategies, and support for navigating this season with strength, grace, and zero guilt. Also, keep an eye out. I'm working on some fitness routines specifically for women over 40 so that you'll know exactly how to move in a way that supports your body right now, not what worked for you at 25. And be sure to like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and share this with a friend who may find this information beneficial as well. And keep an eye out, because I've got more fitness routines coming your way, specifically designed for women over 40. No jumping, no shaming, no fluff, just functional movement that fits your life. You've got this, friend. Your strongest, most energized self is not behind you. It's still ahead. Here's to healthy bodies and heavier weights.